Last transaction is digital rupees of 500. Digital rupees.
Shalom, Kahala Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Ruach Kodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, with the house of David reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage were known as and still are the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the video we just watched and how it pretty much connects to the coming MOTB, right? The Mark of the Beast. Now, the reason I wanted to bring this video out is because it's a clear example of how a cashless society is going to function, okay? Let's go and take a look at that video again, and let's just break it down a little bit, okay? Now, as you can see here, before we get into this, let me explain what you just watched, right? We all seen that it's an electric payment with a phone, right? And it's the guy's buying fruit here, right? But here's the point, right? Notice the person who is making this transaction, right? This is not some big Walmart, some Target, some big, sort of chain. This is your everyday average street vendor, okay, in a busy city. So this is what's coming to America. This is the cashless society that will be here very soon, okay? Because you see, and this is what I want to break down as far as this video, is if you are unaware, right, we're always going into China and how China is one of the first, basically the first test country to push it, which is, or Salaki. That China, whatever happens in China is going to eventually happen to the rest of the world, because China is kind of like the test country for these elites, for these Edomites that are in power. Well, it pretty much is the same for India. You see, first it's China, then it's India, because India has one of the largest populations of all countries, right? And they've also been included within the digital revolution, right? This is why you have so much technical know-how there, tech support, scammers come out of India, right? Because it goes all the way back to Bill Gates, that devil, right? Who basically didn't want to pay certain taxes, so he went out and started to invest in India to basically bring the tech industry over there, and hence make them a hotbed for some of these test sites to bring forward this cash society. So the next thing is that you got to remember, a few years ago, actually I think it was like 2 years ago, India switched over to this digital currency, right? The digital rupee, right? And if you remember before that, here you go, digital rupee, or India's CBDC, central bank digital currency, okay? And just like India has it now over there, right? They call it the digital rupee. We're going to have the digital dollar, right? Known as basically the Federal Reserve's digital currency, right? And the application that you're going to use to download here is called Fed. And that app, they're going to basically make it available soon on Android, right? And pretty soon you'll also be able to use services like Google Pay, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, and all these type of different digital payment systems, but they're all going to basically be tied into the Federal Reserve's, FedNow system, okay? If you're unaware, this, I believe they launched in July.
Service kicking off in mid-September. I want to particularly thank you, the early adopters, for the important investments you're making to prepare for the day when the FedNow service goes live. Together, we'll be ready to launch the FedNow service between May and July of 2023, bringing this innovative core instant payments infrastructure to financial institutions of every size across America.
It's already been baked into the cake, Akim. You know, this is already going, right? There's not going to be some reprieve, some different system. This is already happening. And again, that video, the reason why I wanted to bring it out is because, again, a few years ago, you would have asked this man here who was paying in rupees, right, physical rupees, that his government was going to quickly, disable larger notes, right, make them illegal for the most part. Right? I think they only gave the Indian people like 2 weeks or something to trade in all their 50, 100 rupee notes, or else they would basically become obsolete. Right? And then that's where you had those huge bank runs over in India, and everybody was all pissed over there. And then shortly after that, they announced that they were going to go with the digital rupee, and pretty much everybody had they had so long, I think a month, to declare all their money that wasn't in banks to the banks or the government, so that way it could be transferred into rupees, because after the certain date, that money that was undeclared, right, off the books, would, well, for the most part, become useless. It would be just simply paper, right? And that's the exact same thing they're going to do here, Akim, right? They're going to, if you want, you can read more about it. Now, they don't actually tell you that they're going to do that here, but that's what I'm saying. It's you can read more about the FedNow service and how, when you look at its usage information, how it's basically going to be used, right? The launch timing and everything. They did this back in September of 2022, and they're going to basically launch it mid this year, basically around June time, right? And the reason is because when taxes come in about April, going forward till June is when the government basically puts forward the budgets for the following year, and it's kind of like when the government starts. So, but if you go into general use case information, it pretty much tells you, you know, this right here outlines everything that our current society does with dollars, right? This is the replacement for the dollar, okay? So what we're seeing right now with all these bank, failures, the FTX, crashing, and all these things, all these little tremors with the financial systems, the unable to increase the interest rates anymore because people won't be able to, will become destitute. All that are basically pre-markers to the coming transition to the cashless society, right? The digital currency of America, right? And ultimately to this, the mark of the beast. And that's ultimately what this video is about, right? Because you see, before they transitioned the entire world over to the MOTB, they got to first put everybody on the same playing field, okay? Now, right now, the world is pretty much all different, right? We're all, for the most part, playing on different levels when it comes to currencies, okay? This is why one country is able to do certain financial transactions easier than others. You could buy things from different countries easier. Transfer money to other currencies easier. But what they're first doing, and you could see this when you get into what the banks have been doing by changing out their lending or trading standards to ISO 2022 or something like that, basically allowing these banks to transfer money easier between countries electronically. That happened, I think, in the beginning of 2022. I made a video about it if you wanted to go back and take a look at that. But the point being is that once everybody switches to this this new digital currency, and again, you can see this is happening all over the world. It's happened in China, India, it's going on in Uganda, Lebanon, right? There's all these countries that are right now fighting against it. It's going to eventually come the next step of Esau's plan. And what's that? To bring forward everybody with a way to validate themselves biometrically, right? And how are you going to do that? Well, Esau got a solution, right? To have a implantable biometric chip, right? And that chip would be what you see here on the left or here on the right, right? And they're gonna offer it to you in a way where they're gonna make it seem like it's the next best thing to sliced bread, right? You're gonna have the people like the devils like Bill Gates who are gonna be very corporate, very, like that aspect where people are gonna wanna, be all square and go do exactly what the government says. And then you're gonna have the anti-hero side of it, right? The Elon Musk, right? The people who are against the government, the rebels, the Republicans, the libertarians. And this is how they're gonna fucking enforce it, right? They're gonna make the issue not be about taking it and about what type of chip you should take, right? And never question that you shouldn't take a chip, right? That everybody has to get a chip, but which one are you going to choose? And that's ultimately what's going to happen, Akim. See, these devils, they're very slick in how they're doing this, right? So again, what we just witnessed with the SVB Bank and the Atlantic Bank collapsing is just the tremors of the larger earthquake, financial earthquake that's coming. So that being said, Akim, remember what happened in India, right? With people like this that didn't think this was going to happen to them, right? That had money saved out of the banks and had things that they thought that they would be able to use after the transaction, right? Because again, remember, it doesn't matter how much money you have under your bed or saved away in your bank account. What's going to happen is if you don't have it declared, if you don't have it on the record, the government's going to say you have until a certain amount of time to declare it, or else it's going to be useless after that particular date, okay? And that's how it's going to be. This is how Esau's going to get you into a system. So this is why when you have the apostles out there telling you to buy things like gold or silver, or buy things like properties, things you need now to prepare yourself for this stuff, it's what does the scripture say? A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple move on and are punished. Don't be that simple man, Akim. Make plans, buy the things that you need now, the things that are going to assist you, that you need, but you've been waiting a little bit to save, and also, and if you don't have anything, Lord willing, you don't need anything, go ahead and diversify, right? Diversify means putting your eggs into different baskets, right? Don't put all your eggs into one basket, okay? And what does that mean? That means don't buy all gold or silver or all property, right? Spread it out a little bit, right? And this way, when the system does come, because and another thing too, I'm not saying take all your money and transfer it into like these alternative currencies, right? No, because you are going to need some money to be into the system, right? Now, eventually what's going to happen is that system, that electronical system, the CBDC system, is going to eventually turn into the mark of the beast. At that point, that's where you check out, Akim, that you do not take the mark of the beast, right? That's the point where you basically just wash your hands of the situation and you opt out, you go your own way, and that's the way of the Bible, right? The way that the Messiah told us to go and not be involved in the system, right? That's where we have to basically part ways with Babylon, right? And this is where you're gonna, all the relationships you've built up, all the plans that you've set up and that the Lord has made out for you are going to come into play. So that's why the apostles, brothers like me, are telling you, Akim, to start preparing now. Get the things you need. Look into your different ways to diversify your financials, right? Precious metals, properties, tangible assets, things that will not reduce it in value, right? Things that you could barter easily with other people, things that will be needed. A very popular thing is vodka, right? Not to drink, but to trade, because besides vodka having a use as alcohol, it has many uses as medicinal liquid, right? To mix it with tinctures, and different type of things, right? So either way, Akim, I don't want to get too much into the weeds here, but the point being is we've seen the video, right? This is the reality that we're all facing, right? And again, this little respite that we had from them bailing out these banks is calm the run on the banks. But there's going to come a time when they're not going to be able to do anything, and these devils are just going to let it implode, and they're going to remember they're not going to tell you that the system's collapsed. They're simply just going to let it go on a weekend, and then eventually they're going to come through the next following week or something and say that their solution is not to bail out these banks, but to switch over to the FedNow digital CBDC, which had already by that time been set up. And like I said again, we could see the launch, the public launch of the FedNow system in around, as it says, May or June. I'm guessing it's going to come in June and stuff. But so hopefully this video was edifying. I'll until the next time. Oh, and actually before I go, let's get this. This is Revelations 13:16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell. Right? That's a cut to all these other groups who says the MOTB is not the RFID chip, man. Right? Or saying that it's sin or Christianity or all these other stupid things, man. See, these people are going to be, caught with their pants down, right? And then all their followers are going to either leave them or going to do something even worse because they've been lied to, right? It says, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. That's 666. This is Ezekiel 33 and 33. And when this comes to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet hath been amongst them. Right? And at that point, man, that's when these chips start coming out, man, when they start seeing, when all the Israelites out there who were mocking the apostles and all us brothers who are out there telling you that the MOTB is the RFID implantable chips that they're trying to put in you, and that's going to be backed by the cashless society that they're pushing forward now, right? Then you're going to understand who are the true men of the Lord. Then you're going to understand that it doesn't matter about freaking fringes. You're going to understand that all those times that we've talked to you about is happening, right? This is, and going to the Bible timeline, this is where we're at, right? We're just coming through all these crazy, wonders on earth that the Lord said he would do, right? It talked about in Joel 2 and 30, right? To the money collapse, right? This is about to happen, right? And when the money collapses, that's when you're going to have the race wars, the quasi race wars, right? It's going to be basically everybody against everybody, right? And then eventually, that's going to bring forward martial law, Jacob's trouble, right? And then after that comes through, and they basically, take out the troublemakers. They send people to camps and do all that type of stuff, right? Get the system back under control. That's when you're going to start seeing the full force of the New World Order, right? The World Economic Forum that is over there right now, and Amalek over in Israel, are basically going to come, full force out and tell everybody that, it is what it is, right? And what's going to happen is they're going to initiate the MOTB, right? And when that gets initiated, then that's it, Akim. World War III is going to be next. And when that happens, all we got to do is just sit back and wait for the Messiah to return. So, hopefully this video was edifying, Akim. Until next time, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Ruach HaKodesh. Double honor to my teachers, the apostles, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.